In the Soviet era, old steam trains used to go past the LFF stadium. Back then it was called the Lokomotivas because it was so close to Vilnius main railway station. And last night in Lithuania's capital city, Gordon Strachan might just have got Scotland's World Cup journey firmly back on track. At times this trek to Russia 2018 has been more arduous than awe-inspiring. More than once, the whole thing has threatened to come to a shuddering halt. But somehow, if Strachan and his boys can follow up this victory with a win over Malta at Hampden on Monday night, they'll have steered this Tartan train to the brink of a playoff place. Scotland celebrate their opener image daily record. Of course, being Scottish, we know there's still a chance of it being derailed in our final two games against Slovakia and Slovenia. But at least we're now travelling with a bit of purpose instead of pessimism. For the first time, destination Russia doesn't seem so far in the distance. Thanks to goals from Stuart Armstrong, Andy Robertson and James MacArthur, Strachan's team can still plot a course to a first major finals in 20 years. Yet before kick-off there was real fear Lithuania away might just be the fixture to put the blockers on us. When we started out on this route, Edgaras Janko's cast side took a point off us in Glasgow and we looked lost in Group F. Robertson made it 20 to Scotland image daily record. Robertson celebrates his strike image daily record. Scotland players rated who was top of the Scots in Lithuania thrashing then a scudding in Slovakia must have had a few Tartan army foot soldiers wanting to pack up and go home. But credit to Scotland, they've at least given themselves a chance. A shot at it, even if it's a long one. From early on here at the LFF Stadium, you felt strangely optimistic. This didn't feel like a Georgia when a disastrous defeat in Tbilisi was the killer blow in our failure to reach Euro 2016. Despite Strachan wrongly claiming it wasn't a must-win game, it was impossible not to be positive about the team he picked. Of course, it was a must-win. Anything less and the whole campaign would have crashed and burned. And despite our struggles against Lithuania in the past, this didn't prove to be a major obstacle. The ground itself was far from intimidating. It only holds just over 5,000 punters and most of them were decked in dark blue-pink. Apart from a hardcore group of home supporters who marched here from Cathedral Square in the city's old town, the locals didn't seem that bothered. The Scotland fans in Vilnius image Reuters so much was made of the plastic pitch in the build-up. But standing on it an hour before the game, as artificial surfaces go, it was decent. It had been heavily watered so it had a bit of zip. It was fast, but what's wrong with that? We have players who operate in the Premier League and in the Champions League with Celtic. Strachan's starting lineup offered real encouragement. It felt like he'd picked guys on form for the clubs, which is what international football should be about. The Celtic core was always going to be vital, not just in a physical sense, in terms of their ability, but psychologically they're so used to winning and went into this off the back of Champions League qualification on a plastic pitch. Elsewhere, Robertson was still as high as a kite after signing for Liverpool in the summer. Stuart Armstrong holds off Lithuania's Egidijus Vaikūnas image Reuters in midfield. MacArthur had recently returned to the Crystal Palace team with a couple of goals. And Matt Phillips finally got a competitive start for his country, not before time. The West Brom winger has been in superb form. The fact HES only had 4 caps since his debut 5 years ago is ridiculous. We've all known for a while our weakness is at the back. But despite the problems at Hearts and even though Blackburn are now in England's League One, Christophe Berra and Charlie Mulgrew have been the side's best players this term. The game was wide open at the start and going forward we looked a real threat. Lee Griffiths went close, then Phillips should have got his first Scotland goal. But defensively, we were creating problems for ourselves. MacArthur's rustiness let the Lithuanians in after a couple of sloppy passes and ex-Heartsman Arvydas Novikovas ought to have given them a lead. Armstrong heads home Scotland's opener image daily record. We were the better side though, dominating the ball, creating chances, we just needed one to go in, to settle the nerves. When Armstrong's bullet header hit the back of the net, there was a sense of relief as well as joy. And when Robertson clipped one into the top bin for 20, the Tartan army behind the goal were in a state of delirium. This wasn't Scotland. 2 goals up inside half an hour on our travels. The only worry was the amount of times we gave the ball away needlessly. At 20, it was precarious. The third goal was key, and when MacArthur got it, the nation could finally relax. After Chris Martin's win at Sink Slovenia, Griffith's wonder strikes against the English, and a comfortable win here. A bit of momentum is building at just the right time. The train rolls into Mount Florida on Monday. Strachan might just have got everybody back on board again. Who knows, the last stop could be Russia after all. Yes, momentum is building at exactly the right time. Not sure, still too much to denote this is Scotland. It's bound to go horribly wrong.